today we are looking at rucksack packing and how to get everything that you're going to need on your expedition inside one of these bad boys. Now this is the rucksack that we're going to be using, this or one similar. You might have your own or you might be borrowing one of ours. If you've got your own, this one is 60 litres. They generally need to be between sort of 55 and 75 litres in size, and they should ideally have an adjustable back system. That means that it can be fitted to your size, whether you're small or tall, the rucksack will fit. Now, whether you are on bronze for 2 days or gold for 5 days, everything should fit inside of this rucksack. Often we go out on expeditions and we see people and they've got tents hanging off of these rucksacks, or cups or roll mats, all that sort of thing. But we want to show you today how to get everything inside of your rucksack. So we're just going to work on a basis of the things that a tent group would have. So if there's a group of 3 of you in your tent, you are going to need a tent, you're going to need a stove, you're going to need 3 sleeping bags, and you're going to need 3 roll mats. And on top of all of this, you'll have your clothes and your food. But we're going to get all of this into the rucksacks and show you that there's still space for those clothes, food, sweeties, all of that malarkey still left in your rucksack. So let's look at these rucksacks. They've got lots of compartments on them, but the main compartment is in here. Now you will notice on this rucksack certainly that it's got a zip down here. And the reason why it has a zip down here is that you can split this rucksack into 2 large sections. So inside of here is a bit of fabric, and that fabric can either be closed off to give you 2 separate sections within your rucksack, or the fabric can be opened up to give you 1 large section. Now for the purposes of our rucksack packing today, we're going to have it as 1 large section. So some of our rucksacks that we hire out don't have this lower section. They just come as 1 large section, and some come with the ability to have 2 sections, but we're just going to keep it as 1 large section. And then we've got little pockets like that. There are some pockets on the side. There are some pockets in the lid, and there is also a rain cover in there. The idea of that is that if it's raining, you put that over the top of everything and it will give some protection from the rain. So we're going to start with the tent. 1 person is going to carry the whole tent. Now that seems very unfair, doesn't it? But we're going to disperse some of their other kit into the other people's bags. So the tent is going to get rolled up inside of the roll mat. Now this is quite a manky looking roll mat, to be fair. It doesn't go out on expedition nowadays, it's just used for these purposes. But your tent should be able to roll up inside of your roll mat. Some people teach that you should split the tent up. So some people carry the poles and the pegs and somebody else carries the fabric, which is fine, but then they have a tendency to go missing. So poles go missing or fabric bits go missing, that sort of thing. So this way the whole tent is staying as 1 unit and it's rolled up within a roll mat, and that whole lot is then going to get put inside of your rucksack. Like so. And that's our first rucksack done. Person number 2 is going to carry their roll mat, they're going to carry their sleeping bag, and they're going to carry the sleeping bag for the person who's carrying the tent. So the roll mat goes into the rucksack all the way down, and then we just unravel the roll mat as wide as we can to make it as large a tube as we can make it inside of that rucksack. Okay, once that's opened up, we can then push the sleeping bags straight down the middle. This is why we don't get a huge sleeping bag, we just get a small sleeping bag. Now if your sleeping bag doesn't go down the middle like that one does, all nice and neatly, then you can just unpack it and stuff it down there. But it's much better to keep it in the bag. So there we've got 2 sleeping bags going into that rucksack. Now, if there are only 2 of you that are going on this, that are going to share this tent, then the second person will also carry the trangia and the gas. That can go into that rucksack as well. Okay, but we're going on the basis that there are 3 of you sharing this tent. So that's 3 people to carry all the kit. Person number 3 in this tent group, they're going to put their roll mat into their rucksack like that and unroll it as much as they can. And then down the middle of that is going to go their sleeping bag. And then on top of their sleeping bag, they've got loads of space. So they can definitely carry the trangia if there's 3 of them. They can carry the gas, and they could probably fit in there a lot of the food for the evening meal as well. Now, within each bag, therefore, you still have lots of space. So let's talk about the other things that might go in there. So clothing may well go in there. Well, I've not got clothes here, but you can see I can fit all of my arms down the side of this tent in this rucksack, so you can easily get your clothing in there. You've got lots of little pockets for things that you'll need, essential items during the day, like drinks bottles and sweets and snacks. Your packed lunch could go in this front pocket there. First aid equipment should always go in the very top pocket, and if everybody puts their first aid items in this top pocket, then you all know where each other's first aid items are. So if somebody needs a plaster, you know where their plasters are. If somebody needs an inhaler, you know where their inhaler is, that sort of thing. So all of that can go in the top pocket. But with that system, everything is in the bags. Now, one thing about that though is the bag is not waterproof. I showed earlier the rainproof cover, but that's just giving a little bit of protection. So if we're expecting really bad weather, then your roll mat can stay out, but you might want to put everything else into plastic bags or rubble sacks or bin liners before you put them into the rucksack, and that way they are staying protected from the rain in the rucksack. The worst thing is getting to camp and finding all of your clothes are soaking wet. So be aware of that. Look at the weather forecast and work out, do I really need to heavily protect this stuff from the rain, or actually is it going to be sunny and dry and I don't need to worry about that. But that gets everything inside of your rucksacks for a nice, comfortable walking expedition.